Guys, we have a fabulous show lined up for you today. We are going to follow the lead of what Yes Realty Partners did on Sunday at Ix Park with the partnership with the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. And Keith, before we start the show, sounds like you've met quite a rock star in Dominga Murray.
I did meet a rock
star. And somehow you persuaded her to come 2 days later on the set.
I'm a little persuasive.
I'm happy to be here.
Maybe a little creepily persuasive. Wouldn't let her leave until she said yes.
Oh, not at all. It was fun.
But yeah, so it was great. She came across on Channel 29 to interview us, and we were having a conversation and found out that she is doing some rock star stuff in food insecurity. And I said, let's come on, we'll talk about our wrap up our event and put a little shine on what Dominga's doing.
Well, I'm excited to welcome Dominga to the set. We're going to start the show in about 15 seconds. We're tweeting the interview out to about 50,000 people now. Of course, it's live on Facebook, live on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Snapchat. Every social media platform possible. You love Periscope.
And my favorite, Periscope.
Man loves Periscope.
I've never been on it, but it just sounds cool.
It's the video component of Twitter.
I have no idea. Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
there you
go.
Video
component
I have no
Twitter.
idea where to find this stuff.
Are you ready to rock and roll, Dominga?
I'm ready to go.
All right. J-Dubs, we're in your hands, my friend. We're following your lead, sir. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness. We are live in Charlottesville, across Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, and the world on the I Love Cville network. We're presented by Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend. Interstate Service Company, this business locally owned and operated, and undoubtedly can help you get to the closing table. Realtors across the car footprint. We're powered by Yes Realty Partners, our good friend, inner circle friend, Keith Smith, one of the owners of Yes Realty Partners. I look at you that way.
That's amazing.
Let's go to the studio camera first so we can see you, distinguished gentlemen. Judah Whitcower, our director, if you could go to the studio camera. Judah's our North Star and our compass. And you know, I was going to say inner circle friend, but when you have Miss Roanoke Valley and a very talented Dominga Murray here, I just kind of forget about you and turn my attention to this talented, dynamic, and beautiful reporter from NBC 29.
So
I'm just joking. Not about what I said about you, but what I said to you.
If I was sitting there, I would be saying exactly.
I know you would.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
hello, I'm over here.
All right, well, why don't we do this? We got to get Dominga.
Yeah, sure.
Before we do, how do we get to this point with Dominga on set?
Yeah, so as everybody who's watched the show, we did, our Yes Realty Partners did a Blue Ridge Area Food Bank of raising some money for food, and Channel 29 showed up, Dominga showed up, and we got to talking. Go figure, I like to talk.
You do?
And I found out that she does the same thing in Richmond, and I said, come on, let's talk, and she said yes. So next thing you know, Dominga's sitting here with a I Love Charlottesville sticker in front of her.
Sure am.
And I'm reading a quick bio, but I'd like Dominga to tell us a little bit about her flip book.
Absolutely. All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you both for having me this morning. I really appreciate it. So a little bit about me is I started Helping Hands as a nonprofit at 10 years old. And I know that sounds lofty, but it's because I had the help of my wonderful mother. I'm sure she's watching. Her name is Darcel Murray. And for the first few years of our organization operating, she acted as the advisor. And it really started as a youth group. And my friends and I would do bake sales and little fundraisers around the community, get some money together, go to the grocery store, have a blast, get everything that we could afford that we raised, and then donate it in the Richmond area. And over the last years, it's progressed into a nonprofit organization.
Amazing.
10 years old.
10 years old.
10 years old.
10 years old.
You know what we were doing at 10 years old? Trying not to get expelled from school, right?
Oh my goodness.
I think you did.
I actually did.
Close.
I was told, don't come back. It's okay. So, I mean, how does that genesis work? How does this go from playing with Barbies or whatever it was at 9.
Well, for me, it was pageants, but
Okay.
either or.
I'm dating myself.
Jump into conclusions over here, 101.
I'm dating myself. Come on, I'm an old dude. Playing with whatever you were playing with, to doing this at 10 years old. I mean, that's just awesome.
Well,
and a
thanks.
shout out to Mom, because I know
Right.
Mom was a rock star in this.
Yes, my parents definitely instilled those values in me young. But I grew up participating in a religious month-long fast, and so that was one of those things that really made hunger hit home for me, because I knew what it felt like to go hungry for a few hours a day, but not to go hungry, for any sort of permanent amount of time. And, it really just opened my eyes to the fact that there are so many people that experience food insecurity. And I actually have a personal experience. So when I was about 10, or maybe actually even about to turn 10, my mom was driving me through Richmond, Virginia, picking me up from dance lessons. And I noticed a man on the side of the road holding a sign expressing his need for money and food. And I asked her about it. I'd seen it before because I grew up in Richmond, but it was the first time it really, caught my attention. And she sort of explained that, not everybody has all of the things that we're blessed with. And that's what woke me up to really wanting to make a difference in my community. So that's really where it started.
What a
That's
rock,
awesome.
What a rock star, huh?
That is
Thank you
awesome.
both.
Leonardo, is it Mazzi? Giving you
Oh,
some
yes.
props right now.
Oh, hey.
You're getting some love from quite a few people. If you want to give Dominguez some props like Tara McKinney has done, like
Aw.
much of Short Pump, the West End, and Richmond watching now, just put it in the feed. Johnny Ornalis,
Hey,
our friend,
Johnny.
who owns
Dear-
Guadalajara, and
dear
El
friend.
Mariachi, just shared the show. We got some questions for you, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Keith.
no, you go ahead. Just jump in on the feed. I have a couple, but I'll dump in later.
Yeah, so this question, and I'm going to paraphrase it because it's a little bit longer.
Sure.
How did it make you feel when you saw the gentleman on the side of the road looking for food? And was that the impetus for starting all this?
It really was. And I, pride myself in believing that I've always had pretty good levels of empathy. And I simply just wanted to make a difference. And the way that the story sort of progressed is my mom is very extroverted, much more so than me. And rolled down the window, asked the man if he wanted to eat, and he said, of course. And so then we went to McDonald's, we got him what he asked for, gave it to him, and the part that really stuck with me was seeing how appreciative he was just for a meal that costs, less than $10. And so it really just drove me to sort of continue this work.
That's awesome.
Did you say introvert? Did I hear that?
I mean, sort of cusp introvert.
But
Nobody
hold
would ever imagine
hold
it.
Weren't you number 4 in the state, Miss Virginia?
I was.
Yes, I don't think that's. I may not know, but that's not typically an introvert. Kind of connect those two.
I know, it's funny.
How did that come out? And
Well, like I mentioned, I grew up in a family of extroverts. My parents actually own a production company, and so I was the kid who didn't really want to be on stage, but was sort of forced into it as a child. Sorry, I'm airing them out. And then over the years, it really, kind of grew me. And so I'm grateful for the fact that my parents pushed me in those ways. And now I don't really have any issue behind the camera. I'm a full-time reporter, and I don't have any issue on stage. So that's exciting, and I'm happy about that.
I would have never bet. I'd bet money that word would have never came out of your mouth.
But,
Surprise.
A lot of extroverts in person, or what you see, need to recharge
Alone.
at home and alone at their home to be able to do this. I mean, is that...
That's how it works for me. So either a bubble bath, wind down, reading a book, something quiet and just decompressing. That's how I sort of recharge. And, extroverts really recharge in crowds. And I think, to each their own. It's fine to be either, but I stand somewhere right in the middle.
So 10 years old, we're rocking the world trying to feed people,
Right.
and then you started the beauty pageant thing. How did that transfer happen?
So what's interesting about it is I didn't compete in beauty pageants. I competed in scholarship organizations. And this is so powerful because the Miss America organization is the leading scholarship organization for women in the world. And I have pretty much paid off all of my college debt through competing. So just this past year at Miss Virginia, I earned $11,000 in just a week. And so if that doesn't stand as a testament to the organization, I really truly don't know what does. And so I would really encourage any young women out there who know what that college debt feels like to get involved.
You know what? Can we give her the
Yeah.
a round of applause right here? Dominga is crushing it.
Thanks.
Nicholas Erpy, the CMO of Emergent Financial Services, just shared the show. It looks like you got 3 states watching you right now.
Yay.
Can we get back to the word empathy?
Yes.
I struggle with empathy a little bit. I don't know if you do at all, but emotional IQ, EQ, is something that is as valuable, if not more valuable, than IQ. Empathy and perspective, what it means to you, and how it's driven some of your decision making.
Absolutely. Well, I really do feel like I can take on people's sort of emotions, and it's something that I've had to work throughout my life because, there needs to be a healthy boundary there, but it has fueled some of the things that I'm most proud of in my life. And so not only did it start helping hands, but it started my passion for things like Iris Clay & Co., which is the earring company that I run, and a good percent of the proceeds go toward funding Helping Hands. So the earrings that I'm wearing right now, for those of you watching,
Those are beautiful.
I made them. They're
Yeah,
made out of,
how did-
they're made out of polymer clay.
Okay, goodbye. See you
No,
later.
That's it.
did not do
Bye,
well. Did you know she ran a business?
No.
I just found that out.
Yeah, well, I read the bio. So.
We need
So-
to go down that road.
I'm stuttering,
Me too.
which is kind of hard for
It's
me
hard
to.
for you. You never do that.
Hard for
Y'all
me
are
to do. So let's stop for a second. Let's try it this differently. What are you not doing?
Sleeping.
Okay, there you go.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's the reporter business, though. Right?
So let's talk about seriously. So, food, earring
Right.
company. You're a reporter.
Right.
I learned you're also a meteorologist.
Fill in, but yes.
But you went to school. You have some education. For that.
I have a little bit of education actually from Yale. Claps,
Oh,
more
yeah.
claps.
Goodbye.
I'm working on an atmospheric science program there right now. And it's really exciting because it sort of works around my schedule, which nobody would have ever expected coming from an Ivy League university, which is just so wonderful that it fits in so nicely. But my
You
degree.
need to up your bio, by the way. And add the word Yale somewhere in there.
Well, it's new news, but my degree is in broadcast journalism, and so I'm a full-time reporter.
So how's that going for you?
It's fun. I love it. I am so absolutely grateful that I was afforded the opportunity to be able to move here to Charlottesville right out of college. It's just an absolute dream come true. It's something that I've known that I wanted to do even longer than my passion for feeding the food insecure
Come
population.
to Charlottesville. So let's talk about that genesis.
Right.
We're a real estate show.
Right.
So what was the driving factor to move to Charlottesville?
Good question.
Right. So my uncle and my aunt used to live here years ago, and so I was able to come to the area. I hope he's watching. His name's Adam Evans. But
Okay,
anyways,
Adam Evans, put a
where you
comment
at?
in the feed if you're watching.
right. And they used to live here in Charlottesville, and so I would come and visit as a child, and I just thought it was absolutely beautiful, and I knew that, I might have a chance at working into a market of this size out of school, and so that was really where, that's what I worked on.
So outside of family, what do you really love about Charlottesville?
I really love what it looks like. I haven't had the opportunity to go hiking quite yet because I'm still adjusting to that new reporter schedule, but I am definitely going to get out there and do it as soon as
That
I can.
schedule's a bit brutal.
I mean,
Do
it
you
can
know
be,
the
but
schedule?
She
it
shared
can
with
be,
me. It's
but
insane.
the good news is it's something that I love, and I think that reporters that go really far are those people that can sort of push the hours aside and just, recognize that you are telling important stories and helping people get their word out. So
We should talk about that because I had no idea.
Dude, I was showing up to the station, my previous job was there. I was showing up to the station 3:34 in the morning on Saturdays and Sundays.
I had no idea.
Yeah, what do you,
So I'm a dayside reporter. So
Okay.
traditionally, I get there around 9:30, and then we do a series of meetings and work on our stories all day, and then turn them for the 5 and 6 o'clock shows. But then I've been filling in for weather a little bit, and then I get there around 2 a.m. produce the weather, and then we air at 6, and then we run all the way till 8. So it's really, really exciting.
So let's slow down a little bit. So let's talk about a normal work day for you. If I got that right, you start at 9 in the morning, and then you end when?
It depends.
And then you come,
it's the news.
and then you
business.
come back.
Right. And that's only on a day that I'm doing the weather. So that's not every day. So the good news is that I'm able to recharge and really take care of myself in that way.
But a weather day.
But a weather day can be a long day.
Wow.
And that's a big time gig.
Yes, it's incredible work.
Is
People who
weather a
are
big time. I don't know anything about your industry.
The meteorologists in a lot of stations are
they're really
superstars.
amazing. They really are. Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Weather in a lot of ways drives the broadcast because you want
learning
to know
here.
what's going on from a weather standpoint. So Nick says, dude, she could do absolutely everything.
Aw, thank you, Nick.
Ray Cadell just shared the feed. Alex Erpy, CEO of Emergent, watching. Spencer Pushard is watching. You're getting props from family. Let me acknowledge this. This will make you feel good. William Dudley. Hello.
Hi.
Lori Ann Hayes. Says,
Okay.
That's my girl right there.
Hey.
Faith Allen.
Love her
Andy
too.
Tomasa.
Oh, she's Miss District of Columbia, going to Miss America, so let's clap for her.
All right, hey, here we go. That's for
That's for
Andy.
you, Andy.
That's for you, Andy. Rebecca Gay. If you want to give Dominguez some props, just put it in the feed.
Thank you
Favorite
all.
story you
Favorite story I've done?
so far?
Okay.
Tough question?
It is tough,
for
but I
Sundays.
do think, yeah, I know. I'm tempted to
Sundays
say
food bank.
Keith's story, but I really enjoyed being able to cover the statutes coming down, and I know that people feel different ways about it. It's controversial, but it's history, and for me, it was pivotal to be able to be a part of such a huge day, and so I know that's something I'm going to hold on to forever.
Good for you.
Great answer.
Helping Hands is something also unique. It
Yeah.
is led by...
Women, all
That's
women. 27 young women across the Commonwealth with focus areas in Richmond, South Hill, now here in Charlottesville, and working in Standardsville as well. So I'm so proud of my girls. They are absolutely wonderful. And the best news is a lot of them are still those same people that started with me at 10 years old, who truly,
Really?
yes. And I even have pictures of when we were kids all sitting around my kitchen dining room table. And now we sit in a conference room a bit bigger and a little bit more fancy, but the truth is that our relationship started, as children, and we're all best friends.
What pros, huh?
Yeah, Charlottesville's finest just drove by. If you guys
Didn't
could not
even
hear
blink
that.
an eye.
I mean, we've been doing this for a while here. So you got 4 states now watching you. The flip book of what you want to pursue with your career.
There you go.
Right.
NBC 29, phenomenal station. This is a
Truly.
fantastic market.
Thank you.
David Folke, if you're watching, you're an amazing
Hey.
dude. He's the news director.
He's amazing.
A+ people. That being said, you have ambitions and goals and plans and expectations.
Right.
Can you offer
So-
some perspective on that?
Absolutely. Well, I would encourage anybody who wants to get into the broadcast journalism field to absolutely go for it. You never know how you're going to truly feel until you go for it. And that's advice to take really into any field.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
And additionally, I hope to be a reporter here in Charlottesville for many more years to come. My contract has a few more years left, so David Folke, please keep me around. And
Great answer.
right, and I would like to try and move up to different markets throughout my career. But ultimately, I'd like to become a mom one day, and to know that the field can be demanding, and so I'm interested to see how that sort of continues to evolve as I get older. But I hope that with my future children, I'm able to do what my mom did for me and really instill in them those values of philanthropy and getting out in your community and making a difference.
When I said rock star, we use that term quite often on the show. I got to tell you, I think you're on the top.
Thanks.
doubt about it.
So
it's
sweet.
just, the list. I'm just rereading your bio and the things that you're achieving, which doesn't have Yale in it, and it's just awesome. I'm pretty sure that whatever you want to do, it's extremely doable.
World's
Thank
your
you.
oyster.
Thank you.
How about being a role model?
Absolutely.
yeah.
You embrace it. A lot of folks shy away from the moniker because the pressure that comes with the moniker.
Mm-hmm.
How do you look at the 2 words role model?
Right. Well, I love the 2 words, and especially together. I am the oldest of 3, and so I've kind of grown up knowing that my younger siblings, even though they won't admit it, are looking up to me. And I believe that, leading by example is so powerful. And so I do my best to put my best foot forward. If I'm having a negative day, I try and, move through those thoughts, and I allow myself to feel them at an appropriate time. If I always try to, just put other people in the best light. I simply have a very firm rule with myself. I don't talk badly about people. I just simply won't do it. And I think that's something that other people can take away as well, because, coming from an industry like pageantry where people, can get catty, it's important to remember to always, put your best foot forward, love on the other contestants, and just be a good person.
You know what I just wrote down?
Well, don't talk bad about people.
No, you know,
don't do that.
You know, I never do that.
I know.
We have a whole thing about there's a rule on the show. We never point fingers at other people
Yeah.
See?
because three of them are pointing back at
And that's
you.
the truth.
Back at you. But I wrote next governor of Virginia.
Oh,
Oh.
my goodness,
So
that's
do
a
you
lot.
do you have any political aspirations? Because you should.
Well, I don't, but considering you feel like I should, I might look into it one day. You know, I'm somewhat of an open book, and I don't think that there's anything that I would ever X out. But for now, no plans in that area.
Well, if you should run, I think you'd be a rock star. I think they need young, fresh faces that
Amen.
can think outside of the box and are empathetic. So you would be perfect. So
Thank you.
I'm encouraging you to consider it. I know that you have a very packed day because you explained it to me, but you live in the city, right?
Just kind of sort of on the cusp, but not
So
very
you live
far
in
at all.
Albemarle County, or
Technically Charlottesville, but it's not quite
so
as busy as,
I
right
know
here.
as a reporter you're into all these different things. I would encourage you to get involved in the city, get involved in some of what's happening in planning commissions and so forth and so on.
I'm not sure they can technically do that.
Oh,
With conflict of
It
interest.
might have to be later,
Yeah.
but I'm open to it.
Yeah.
see, I'm learning.
It's one of the things.
It's,
in your contract.
Yeah, we can't be in it if
In
we're
your
talking about
contract.
it.
Contracts.
Nick says fire trucks running by because this interview is on fire.
Aw.
Hashtag lit.
Thank you.
there. That was hilarious, dude. Vanessa Parkhill, hello and welcome to the
Hey,
broadcast.
Vanessa, thank you.
How about this question? How has Richmond changed in your lifetime?
Great
A
question.
lot, really, in the sense of development, one. And then two, this is unfortunate to say, but over the years growing up, I noticed that hunger epidemic sort of getting worse right in our neighborhood. And it's something that really gets me emotional, so I'm going to work to not do that on the show. But as you drive around Richmond, you can see countless people strewn across the streets with sleeping bags, hundreds. And I think that's really honestly embarrassing. I think that we could do better as a state. And if any of you are interested in helping us do better, you can visit Helping Hands on the internet. And we've got a nice little donate button. And, it goes directly to feeding people and giving them those meals that they otherwise, are looking forward to and may never have. So,
Plus, we have this thing called food deserts.
Right.
And
Oh, yes. Mhm.
And that is a lot of what you're speaking about. And not only in certain particular areas of Richmond, there's literally no place to go and buy fresh produce. And one of the things we learned last Friday with Millie from Blue Ridge Area Food Bank, which I did not know, they actually have a truck that goes out and delivers fresh produce to
right,
folks.
that's really amazing.
So-
And Helping Hands sort of works to operate in that way as well. So one thing I didn't mention is that we operate pretty mobile, especially since the pandemic. And this is to address the fact that there are so many food deserts in Virginia. And for those of us that aren't familiar with really what that means, it's simply when the grocery store is over 10 miles from residential areas. And so that puts people in lower income areas further away from nutritious food, and then they often end up walking to the corner store because it's closer after a long day of work when you have multiple children, and then they'll settle on things like Cheetos and Lay's instead of zucchini and squash.
It's all processed food. It's not healthy, right? It's not
Right.
good. So talk about the mobile component, because that's
Absolutely.
very interesting to me, how the mechanics of this actually works.
So we have a company car, which is really exciting.
awesome.
Yeah, and
Is it wrapped?
no, but I wish it was. I'm working on it.
Cool.
And
I think she's
Help
working on
them.
it.
Donate.
right,
Helping
hear me out.
Hands.
Right, and so when we have a recipients list, and when people reach out to us and say, we need this, or this is what we don't like, this is what we do like, this is what we're allergic to, we get them a working list, and then we will drop it off at no cost. Honestly, really whenever they want. It can even be the middle of the night. I mean, of course, it has to sort of make sense with the schedules of those in the organizations, but we really do our best to be flexible with people.
So you just took Uber Eats and turned it into something really awesome.
Yeah, free.
Yeah, they turned Uber Eats into something with empathy and kindness and philanthropy and not
turned it into
capitalistic.
something awesome. Do
Yeah.
you guys have an app? Is that how that works?
I
Or-
really wish that we did. And I love that you are throwing these ideas out at me. But hopefully that's to come soon. And our website right now is going through a little revamping for those of you who might be curious. But we we have our website, and people mainly contact us through there.
Got it. Well, I would encourage an app because that makes life so much simple. But
Truly.
as we all know, that's super expensive to go in and set up. But it sounds like to me, eventually, I think that's where you're going to get.
Right.
You're going to get to this app, and folks are going to deliver it, and you're going to have your own version of, we won't call it Uber Eats, but we're all helping hands eats.
To see, it'll be
Right?
fun, right? And the good news about nonprofits is, you can really fund yourself up with grants. And so I'm looking into, and by I mean we, are looking into having some more grant money come through so that we can make big changes like this.
So
This is a great question here for
Go ahead.
Dominga. This is from Twitter, guys.
Hey there.
So this is from a mom who's looking for advice that
Absolutely.
you can offer to her daughter who wants to get in the business.
Okay.
Jerry, can you please relay this to Miss Dominga? My 13-year-old daughter watches the news, and she has an ambition of pursuing a news career. I was a huge Sharon Gregory fan, and my daughter loves Casey. She loves Dominga and really admires all of them that are on air. Can you ask the guests what advice you would give my daughter for pursuing this career?
Absolutely.
Great question.
It is a great question. So my first bit of advice is do some research and find a good journalism school, especially if you know that this is something that you want to pursue, and then really soak up every experience. When you're in college, some people try and find the ways to cut the corners and to get out of class as soon as you can and to skip out on as much homework as you can. Don't be that person, because when you get into the business, it'll be really important that you have those skills that you could have learned if you really, really applied yourself. And I also suggest to find a mentor. He or she likes Casey, she likes me. She can even reach out. Every time I'm on television, a little banner pops up at the bottom with my email. You can reach out to me. And I know I've only been in the business so long, but I'm willing to be a working mentor. And find somebody in the business that you look up to that can sort of just guide you throughout the way.
So
You know what that banner's called? In the
super.
game? A lower third.
Yeah.
lower third.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Or a
yet.
super.
Or a super.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
That's what we're doing.
I'm learning.
I love it.
You have the skills. My wife and I do a ton of mentoring and coaching. It takes the skills that you have that are innate, that your mother and father probably trained you to do or helped you get to this point. So I would encourage you to keep on doing it. There's no better feeling in the world than to help somebody move along towards their visions and their goals. That's what we do in real estate every day.
Right.
They have certain goals and objectives, and at the end of the day, it's not about buying and selling. It's about helping folks achieve their goals.
This is amazing. Come As You Are Seville.
Oh, hey.
Which is a 501c3 organization geared towards serving the homeless, less fortunate by incorporating them into group activities, supporting them with prayers, fellowships, and meals. They left this comment. Dominga and Helping Hands delivered food on a weekend to one of our families in need. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. From Come As You Are Seville, the nonprofit. How's that make you feel?
So sweet. That's so sweet. It's true, and it was a pleasure to be able to do that. But it just makes me really humbled and honored to know that it makes a difference in someone's life. Thanks for the little shout out.
We've been doing this is 182, 183 shows, and it just amazes me the reach when you use when you use social media for the good. When you get comments like that, and like I was telling you in the pre-show production meeting, we'll just have a conversation, and Jerry will start reading stuff, and the show.
There's more.
The show would just go. Let's see what we have.
So this one's about the parents. Give some insight into what your parents did to get you to being so impressive and awesome like you are.
Well, thank you for the compliment. So I think my family's really unique. I've never felt like I didn't have those angsty teenage years. My family was just so down to earth. They really understood where I was at each stage. And I think that's something that really all parents can take away. Really try and get to know your kids, get to know them in and out. And I think that's really what kept us so close. And my family just really loves, being good people and giving back to those who are less fortunate. And it stuck. There's really not much more to it.
But they helped guide you through a path, right? But if you would have said, Mom and Dad, thank you, but my path is this way.
They would have said, let's do that.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that's definitely how they are.
And that's amazing. That's amazing. I have two daughters, one 35 and one 27, I think.
Don't age her.
I think I just messed it up. I think it's 27. think it's 27. But yeah, that's what my wife and I did. We of course, guided them along, but they took two paths that were very independent of each other and what they wanted to do. And hats off to mom and dad.
Right, and it's worked that way for my siblings and I. My sister is really interested in art. She's actually really, really amazing at it. And then she also really likes to bake and is in the process of opening a baking business, even though she's literally 14. So really exciting.
Time out. You started at 10. Don't knock her for 14.
She's an amazing
You
kid.
should say, hey, sis, you're a little slow.
Hey, catch up. No.
She doesn't say bad things about
Right?
anybody.
It's different.
bad.
It's different
It's
if
a
it's to their
fact.
face.
It's
No,
a
no,
fact.
I'm just joking.
Oh, come on now. There's a little sibling rivalry going
Just
on.
a little. No, so what's sweet
I'm
about
the
it?
oldest of 5, and I get it. I know exactly what it's like.
5. That's a few. Yeah. So my parents, they've supported us all in different directions.
Cool.
Gavin Honeycutt, giving you some
Hi,
props.
Gavin.
Love you, Dominga. This via LinkedIn. Jerry, asked your guest if she likes working behind the camera or in front of the camera the most and why.
I prefer being in front of the camera. It's probably because it's where I have the most experience. And that doesn't mean that, I'm not up for the challenge of learning the inner workings of, how to set up a shot, how to get your lighting correct. And, I'll be honest about this because I'm relatively new. I've only been here for almost 3 months. And so there's a learning curve to reporting, and I take it in humble stride. But so far, I enjoy being in front of the camera more.
So there's one other thing we haven't talked about yet.
Uh-oh.
You're an author.
I am.
Let's talk about that.
So I just published a book called Should I Share with Sarah? It's sold quite a few copies thanks to so many of these people that are tuning into our feed right now, and to just people who know and love me. And all of the profits go toward Helping Hands. And the reason why is because, I knew that we needed some more money to fund things like getting that company car and, just keeping us afloat. And so Should I Share with Sarah is about childhood hunger, and it's a story of two friends who one notices the other stop bringing snacks to school and then in the end ends up sharing with her. And so it's really designed to explain the hunger epidemic to children so that we can really start nurturing this issue with our youngest generation.
So it's available on Amazon because I looked it up already.
Yeah.
You buy it?
Not only did I buy it,
Aw.
so my youngest daughter is a teacher in Seattle, and I sent her a copy.
Aw,
awesome.
thank you so much,
Sent
Keith.
her a copy.
I appreciate
I
it.
sent her a copy, and I said, "This is an awesome book. She'll
Thanks.
teach it to her. She teaches. I'll get this messed up. Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. That's a perfect age for the book. And if you could have her send me a picture when she gets it, that'd be great.
So what I'm going to do is, since you two folks are awesome folks, you remind me so much of my youngest daughter, former Division I athlete, the first one in my family ever to go to college.
Wow,
Got a
amazing.
master's degree in education. Nobody in either side of my family's ever attended college.
Well, it
except-
must have been through some values that you instilled.
And
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Absolutely. And his fabulous Better 7/8, Jonas Smith, who's watching,
That's right.
who literally said, "Thank you, Dominga, for all your efforts. You're awesome."
Thanks.
From Yona.
So sweet. Thanks, Yuna.
Michelle Brooks. Michelle Brooks. Hi, sweetheart.
Oh,
I'm so
hey,
proud of you.
thanks. Hey.
And there's more like this if you want to feel really good. I mean, so many people giving you props.
This is amazing, for my self-esteem. If I was sad, I'm not now.
We can follow you around all week if you need us to.
Oh, my goodness.
She is an absolute joy to interview and to have on site.
I'm
Thank you
reading
both.
quickly your bio and stuff, and I just feel that there's more stuff that isn't in here that you haven't told us yet. So what other amazing things that you've been doing in your life that isn't showing up in this bio and stuff like that? We learned about Yale. We learned about you being an author.
Let me think. So, I don't know. I really do feel like the bio talks about pretty much everything.
Cool.
But I'd love to talk a little bit more about the pageantry and the
cool.
scholarship organization that I compete in.
Please.
So I am Miss Roanoke Valley, and I'm the only woman in history to be Miss Roanoke Valley 3 times. So there's a special thing where you can go back to the local that you won before, as long as it's not the same consecutive year, or back-to-back years is what I mean. And so I'm so blessed that I was able to win 3 times there, or twice, and then the year through the pandemic. They asked me to sort of just stay on board for another year, which was exciting. And then my board has been so wonderful. So I really do want to take some time to shout them out because they've truly grown me in a huge way as well. I started in this organization at just a humble 14 years old, and then in Miss at 19, and now I'm 23, and I haven't taken a single year break since I started. So that's not the most traditional journey, but something I'm proud of.
So this is a world I have no idea about. So, and maybe there's folks that are watching that do not understand this. So how does this work? How do you get into this? How does this process
Well,
work?
for people interested, it's just as simple as Googling MissVirginia.org, or if you are maybe interested in the USA organization, Miss Virginia USA. And it's really multifaceted, and I could talk about it all day, but I'll try and just hit the points. So there's an interview. There's an interview portion of the competition, and you speak for about 10 minutes with the judges, the panel that ends up selecting the winner, and they ask you pretty much the same sort of things that you're talking to me about now. What makes you qualified? Why do you want to do this? What are your passions? What's your platform, or now called Social Impact Initiative, where I get to talk about Helping Hands. And then there's a portion where we model a gown, which is like this just fun portion to, be girly and really enjoy yourself on stage. And then there's also a portion where you get to answer questions on stage and have an on-stage interview. So it's very different because, the personal feeling that you have with just a few people in the room is now changed to thousands of people in a room, if you could picture that. So it can be nerve-wracking, but it's also really exciting. And just a little toot my own horn moment. I did win the on-stage question portion at Miss Virginia. The reason I bring this up is because it's not something I ever thought I never thought it would happen to me. It's really easy in news and in pageantry, or really in many different arenas of life, to look at other people and think that they're more qualified or they're better than you or life's easier for them. But something I want people watching this to take away is that you really do offer something unique to the world. My mom always told me, nobody has more dynamic power than another, and look where that's gotten me. So I really do hope that people take that away, and even my biggest goals in life, some of which I've been able to achieve, that just simply means, I'm not above anyone. We can all sort of get there if we put our best foot forward.
On Sunday, when we were doing our little interview, we only spent a few minutes together. And thank you, Jerry. We only spent a few minutes together. And at that moment, I thought to myself, matter of fact, my wife turned to me and she goes, "That's one dynamic human being."
Thanks.
And
wow.
I'll tell you
what
what,
a compliment.
I'm getting chills after talking to you for, I don't know how long we've been talking. You are one dynamic human being. Keep it up. The world should be more like you.
Thank
They should
you.
have more of you around the world. I'm just getting chills thinking about it.
That's so sweet, Keith.
So thank you for all you do.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the positive vibe you send out there. There's so much negativity in this
It's true.
darn world. To have a conversation as somebody who's a little older than everybody in the room, to have a conversation with a young person that just is firing on all 12 cylinders and gets it, just gives me nothing but hope for this world and hope for this city and hope for this country. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I couldn't say it any more than that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm sure that my time's coming to a close, but for anybody who's maybe watching that is suffering with food insecurity, please reach out. This is what Helping Hands is for. And if there are any people who want to find out how to donate, whether it be in a monetary sense or a food donation, you can also reach out through our Helping Hands Facebook page, which is linked through my personal.
Here.
And I don't mean
yeah,
to
that's
interject
absolutely.
here. J-Dubs, we should get a picture here of Dominga before she goes on set for the package that we're putting together. But go ahead.
So sweet.
Dominga.
Oh, yes, if people want to volunteer, I absolutely, the more the merrier. And even though we're all a female-led organization, I definitely love the days where we have hundreds of thousands of pounds of food to not have to lift it. So if we've got some strapping young lads that want to do that for us, sounds good to me. If you want to load up the truck, just reach out.
Is your boyfriend watching this?
Right? Please.
No. She said young and strapping. Glad I got.
I'll talk now so she can smile for the camera. She's absolutely fantastic. So why don't we give two questions to her? So this one is from LinkedIn, and it's a good one. Jerry, thoroughly enjoyed the interview with Dominga. How about a fun question for her? Can she offer insight to any bloopers or blooper reels that may have come on TV or in the pageant business?
I do.
And thank you for the interview, Jerry.
Okay, well, I do have I have that reel sort of in my mind always of every moment that didn't quite go so well. But I don't know that I have any on camera. But if I do, Jerry, I I'll post it because I'm not the kind of person that has to like bury those
confident.
moments.
Sure.
I feel like, the more you can laugh at yourself, the more fun life will be. So if we have a moment that I do catch, you'll see it too.
Okay.
I'm not a pro like you two guys, right? I don't have the training that you guys have. I've only been doing this for 2.5 years, but I've learned.
Been doing it for 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
Well, but you
Technically,
you got
The pageant game for years.
Oh, the
Right.
pageant game is
It's very similar.
Yeah, it definitely
but you
grows
also
you.
have a formal education and went to Yale.
Oh my gosh, stop. Stop.
And, no, which is cool. But I've come to the point that I learned that if we just have to be ourselves and comfortable, if we make mistakes,
It's
which I
true.
make 100 of them,
Right, don't we all?
you just keep on rolling on.
It makes you more approachable and endearing.
That's exactly.
Absolutely.
When the viewers or listeners see, oh, this person is
Isn't-
also human.
That's right.
And then you
That's
become
true.
more relatable.
I
to the
probably made
audience.
about a dozen mistakes in this interview, if not more than that.
And
but-
look, I didn't notice a single one, so.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
There you go.
that's another thing to take away, especially for the young girl who's interested in getting into
Yes.
news. You can, end up being hypercritical of yourself. And I think there's, a blessing in that. But at the same time, a lot of the things you notice that you're doing wrong and nobody else does, that's something to take on stage. That's something to take behind the camera
Well,
and every
it's
aspect of life.
interesting. Jerry taught me this because when we first started this 2.5 years ago, I used to watch every show, and I was like super critical. Oh my God, I sound stupid. I look stupid.
And you didn't.
And he said, stop it. And I did. And it changed everything the way, at least I think I am doing this stuff. So I enjoy it very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, why don't we close with some final words? Samantha Smith giving you props. CeCe
Hey,
Curry.
she's from Helping Hands.
Okay, Samantha, hello. You're amazing as well. CeCe Curry.
Hey, Cece. Interview coach.
Cameron Horn.
Did you say interview coach?
Yeah, she's amazing, like one of the smartest women that I know. And her husband recovered miraculously from COVID, so thank God for that. She's a wonderful
So let's
person.
talk about an interview coach. What is an interview coach?
Okay, so when you are interviewing to become Miss Virginia or really anything, it helps to have some skills, some social skills. And Cece taught me a lot of what I know.
Good for you. Outstanding.
Hello, Jordan Welker as well. Why don't we
Hey,
close-
that's Miss Roanoke Valley's outstanding teen.
Jordan Welker?
And she also placed in the top 5 at Miss Virginia's outstanding teen this past summer. So go us, I guess.
Good job.
Just like rock star after rock star after
Seriously,
rock
seriously.
star.
How about close with final word? Anywhere you
Absolutely.
want to
Sure. Well, I really appreciate everybody tuning in this morning, and I'm so humbled by the outpouring of love from my family and friends and Helping Hands members on Facebook. So that really, just warms my heart. But like I said, I really want everybody to walk away from this knowing that you're in control of your life much more than we give ourselves credit for. And while I personally believe that God has a hand in everything that happens, there's a part that you have a hand in. You are responsible for the impact that you make on the world. And so that's something that I try and remember each and every day, and I hope other people can take away as well.
God can lead you down a path, but you got to be willing to walk it.
Very true.
Got to be willing to walk it. And you walk the path, you talk the talk, you're doing wonderful. We will follow you along, and hopefully anybody who's watching, please donate time, energy, help this young lady and her team, solve...
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank
Thank
you both
you.
for having me. I
Yeah.
truly appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm trying to figure out where we
Dominga
go
Murray,
from
guys.
here.
I mean, it's going to be tough to follow that. She's absolutely amazing. For those that are asking on the feed right now, we'll archive the interview in totality on iloveseville.com. And if you want to continue giving her props, just put it in the feed there. Thank you, Dominga.
Dominga, thank you.
You
Thank
were
you.
awesome.
Thumbs up. You're a rock star. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So how do we go to real estate after that?
Well, we're segue. That's the name of the
We
game. That's the
segue.
business, my friend.
Is that how this works?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I think we ended up yesterday talking a little bit about this particular listing on Elliott Avenue, and we got a little bit in the weeds about R2 and what we could do and what we couldn't do. And so I did a little bit of research. As you know, we can't get into too many details on it, but I wanted to make sure that I explain clearly what one can and one can't do with this parcel. So I'm acting as if you're asking me, hey, Keith, I'm interested in this. So it's an interesting thing. One of the things you can do with that R2 lot, so and I went through the whole zoning district documents and all this fun stuff. A R2 lot, meaning a lot that's R2 and you want to put a duplex on it, the minimum square footage of the lot needs to be 7,200. This lot is 7,400. So technically,
It's doable.
it's doable.
Can
It's
you see
doable.
that right there?
It's doable. So, hang on one second.
Sure.
Dominga, you're free to go anytime you want. No, you're cool. Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
Dominga, thank you.
Thank you.
In any event, so we can subdivide this lot. Well, technically it's not a subdivision, but you can subdivide this lot and get to the, because when I spoke yesterday, I wasn't sure if we could.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
So, J-Dubs, do we want to get it on screen or not?
Sure.
Okay.
If you want to.
So, if you want to get it on screen, please do the lot from yesterday, the listing we were talking about. So, you're saying this is good to go?
Well, it is and it isn't. So there's nothing easy about this. The part of the problem that you're going to have with this is the setbacks on the lot. And so it's kind of a strange lot. One side of it on Raymond Street is 59 feet across the front. On Elliott is 112. On the right-hand side is 81, and the rear is 114. So by the time you click in your setbacks, the front has to be 25. Your building setbacks. I can't have a house any closer. Your side of 20 and 10. You're mathematically running out of room. So even though the square footage says it works, the math doesn't. The geometric shape does not. So I think it has a little bit of potential to it, but you were talking about, what somebody could do with this. And what somebody could do with this is they could purchase it, obviously demo it, and figure out a way.
Doesn't it look like a demo?
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
Without doubt. Yeah. But I was concerned because I couldn't exactly remember the exact square footage number and what this lot was, and it's just over the minimum square footage. The thing is, I don't know if you can physically fit 2 homes on there, like a duplex attached on that.
So how's the process work of figuring that out,
Great.
assessing the risk
Yeah.
of the purchase, and what you can do from an opportunity standpoint?
Yeah. So if I was
Because you're a recovering developer.
I'm recovering a lot of things, but so if you were asking me,
Yeah.
this is
This is your business.
This is my business to go
Yeah.
ahead and do this, and you were interested in this. The first thing we would end up doing is try to put what's called a feasibility study on top of it, some sort of time, so we can go and research this and get through it. That would be my advice to you on that. And then we remember Kelsey Schlein?
Yeah.
We get Kelsey Schlein from
Shrimp engineering.
Shrimp Engineering, have them come in, they're land planners, and you say, okay, this is what I want to do. We start digging through these hundreds of pages of zoning ordinances and site plan ordinances, because one of the other things that you need to do is you got to put parking on this. So we've got an irregular shaped lot that's just over 7,000 square feet. Let's just forget about the house. Right? It's zoned R2, and now what we need to try to do is figure out how we can put a duplex on this. And one of the reasons I wanted to pick up the second story of this conversation of today was, this is part of what this new upzoning is hopefully going to work on, right? So where there may be square footage minimums changes, where there may be setback changes, where you can get it a little closer to the street. I mean, if you take a look at it mathematically, one side is 59 feet. If you take 25, just make it 75 for simple math, I only have about 50 feet left to work with. I got less than that. I got like 30 feet to work with. I can't physically fit a home in there. Okay, well, now if we change the setbacks, I can get a little bit bigger, get a little bit wider. And oh, by the way, now that I got 2 units on there, I got a minimum of 1 parking area on site. I can do it in, I can probably figure out a way to get one on the street because there's a bus route there. There's some rules that kind of let you change around a little bit. But basically, out of 7,400 square feet, we would have to figure out a way to put 2 parking spots on there. They're 18 by 10. So it's
The
100
parking spots are.
roughly.
And Judah, for those that are watching, guys, our fabulous director, Judah Wickower, is putting a screenshot of the listing on the show now. So J-Dubs, you rotate that in. In fact, if we can encourage people to look at the screen now so they can see what we're talking about, so they have some perspective of what we're analyzing.
Yeah, so this is an interesting.
Is this strictly an investor buy?
Yes and no.
Why no?
well-
Because of what you just outlined.
Well,
Because is someone going to live there?
if you and I, somebody were to buy it and go through the duplex process and assuming it works, yeah, of course, 2 families are going to live there.
Current structure.
Current structure, yeah, I haven't been through it. I only know it from the pictures.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want to comment on that. Obviously, it needs a ton of renovation just from the pictures.
And it says sold as is in
yeah,
the copy.
Yeah,
of
correct.
the
Well, in the state of Virginia, everything is sold as is, but that's besides the point. So, yeah, I mean, you're spending. The way I look at it,
You're spending what, $300 for the dirt? It's
well,
$350 ask.
it's $350. So let's assume you're spending $350.
Okay.
Right. Just let's not
Okay.
undervalue
Sure.
the property. So at the end of the day, you're spending $350 for a lot.
$350 for a lot, and then the structure, the best structure, back of the napkin. What would it cost to build?
Oh.
Rough estimate.
Oh.
What's the best structure?
You're talking
you
about
see?
renovating the existing structure
No,
or new?
I think I'm saying this. You're not saying this. Don't want you. I think this is a tear down.
We're okay. We're not crossing any
Okay.
lines.
Okay. I think this is a tear down.
At least I don't think I am.
No, I don't think you are.
We'll find out.
Your wife's watching.
Mrs. Smith will correct me.
I think this is a tear down.
And she will
here.
do it live.
I think this is a tear down and an over under build up for a smaller footprint.
Yeah, I think an over-under would work on the foot because you're going to have to because you're going to need
You need a smaller footprint.
You need exactly right.
Yeah.
You need a smaller footprint because by the time you put your setbacks in and all that kind of great stuff, plus the parking, and then you got to figure out how you're going to get your infrastructure into it, and all blah. You're just running out of room real fast. So,
Is this $1 million when it's all said and done? I mean, you're talking. Let's say we're saying 350, no negotiation. I'm just going to say 350.
well, if you're
for the lot.
demoing it, you got
Yeah.
you got to tear it down.
Okay, what is, you know this better than I learned from you.
25 to 50 grand.
25 to 50 grand to knock down a home and to tear it away.
Depending on what improvements you need to do to the utilities going to. So here's a little folks don't know. When you do a demo in the city of Charlottesville, you have to go all the way back to the main, and this main meaning the sewer main and the water main, which I don't know where it is in this case, but let's assume it's in the middle of Elliott just for the heck of it.
So you're saying in the middle of the road?
You have to go all the way back to the middle. So I'm going to tear this house down, right? It's true.
I believe you.
I'm going to.
I'm learning again.
I'm going to. I just learned. Unbelievable stuff today. Before you dig part of the permit, before you demo it, or part of the demo process, you have to go all the way to the street, disconnect it, build your house or your duplex units, go back to the street, reconnect it, and go back in instead of leaving that existing connection. I know this because
Why?
great question.
That's local government?
It's just a utility.
Is it Charlottesville specific?
I only know it's in Charlottesville because I'm helping a couple of clients do the same thing.
Is it Fluvanna? Because you know that place inside and out.
Yeah, no.
Albemarle?
Maybe in Albemarle. It depends on the location.
Would they have to tear up the road?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So how does that? Okay, this is questions from someone who has no idea about this. That you're.
Well,
gonna
we're
say,
writing a
like,
contract on this.
You're going to say this is no duh or boring questions.
Okay.
But I feel like these are questions that maybe some of the viewers or listeners may have.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the process like of tearing the road to get to the main on Elliott? How does that work? And what are the costs involved?
Oh my God! That's the reason I got the spread of 25 to 50. You don't know, right? You have to locate it, and some of the stuff. I mean, I'll speak to Nassau Street with the land trust. We needed to go. It was vacant lots at the time, and we needed to go and make the tap in that and tap into the sewer and the water line on that. And I believe it was the water line was so old, it was terracotta. And we needed to replace a whole section of it because it was just falling apart on us. So, one would need to really look at it, but you dig up the street, You have to go through your whole kinds of permits process on it. You have to go on a street closing permit process. And if it's on Elliott, that's going to be freaking nuts.
Yeah.
On Elliott.
That's
Now,
a cut through.
hopefully it's on Raymond, which you can get to a little bit easier. And then, oh, by the way, you got to shut the water off, which means now you got to tell everybody in the neighborhood, I'm shutting water off on this particular date.
How long does that take?
Notifying people?
Well, both notifying and how long do you have to shut the water off?
Well, it depends on the job. It just depends. It depends on how deep it is, how far it is.
Are the demo people the ones doing this kind of work as well? Are there people that work specifically on?
No, more than likely, if we were going to do this and we were going to demo this, we would just use one excavator, and this excavator would do the demo work, the erosion control work, because you're disturbing some land. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to make the connection to the street. So you would use one company to go.
So does that excavating company get all the permitting and
that's how
all the paperwork?
That's how I would do it. Yeah.
Okay. How long does that process take?
Oh God, weeks.
Really?
Weeks, yeah, sure. Weeks.
Okay, so that's some debt and some carrying costs.
Yeah. So not only is the purchase price, it's the demo, right? But before you do all of that, you're spending money with folks like Kelsey Sline and Shrimp Engineering, because you've got to go through all this engineering process. Can I fit what I want? Oh, by the way, then you got to bring in a guy like Bob Pino who's an architect, who knows this stuff backwards and forwards, and say, okay, what can I fit on there? And we want to fit it in a way that people have an actual yard, right? They can do something with it. And oh, by the way, how am I going to put on my 2 parking areas? And oh, by the way, you're only allowed to disturb so much of the dirt. So that's called pervious and impervious. So you probably have to do certain parking facilities so that the water actually goes through the parking area. They have asphalt that does that. They have pavers that does that, because you're only allowed to disturb so much of that. So there's so many different components to it before you even buy it.
How about the architectural plans?
I don't know if that's in a corridor. I haven't had an opportunity to look at that. It may be in an ARB corridor, architectural review corridor, since it's on Elliott. I may be wrong. Under the assumption that it is, then there's a process for that. Then the architectural review board needs to kind of look at that. But it may not. I may be misspeaking a little bit. This is what Kelsey would. Having Kelsey sitting in that chair, she'd correct me on that. R2 may not be applicable for ARB approval, but you would hire somebody like Bob Pino to design something for you. Then you bring in a builder and all this fun stuff.
Fud Guy's got a great idea, Judah, that he just relayed. He said, Jerry, you should do a Friday recap show. And the Friday recap show recaps all the highlights from all the shows on the network over the course of the week. I Love Seville show, Today y Mañana, Real Talk, and What's Barking Local, all recapped in one Cliff Notes version. That's not a bad idea, Fud Guy. This question comes in.
Don't you love this stuff?
I do. No. I especially love the feed. Guys, for those that are watching and listening, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, we love getting comments from you, and we try to adapt once those comments come in. So if you guys have questions, or if you want to take us in a direction, or you want to offer some perspective on what we're talking about, just put it in the feed. We will adapt to what you guys are saying and thinking. So are we talking ballpark for this listing? And J-Dubs, if you could get that back on screen. Are we talking ballpark? We're talking over $1 million here, all said and done.
It's hard. I wouldn't.
I mean, the dirt we're going to say is between 300 and 350. So
plus another 25 and 50 to demo.
To demo, exactly. So you're going to have to close Elliott down. That's going to cost some money.
Well, that's part of that 25.
Okay, it's part of the 25 to 50. Okay. So I would imagine whoever does this is probably going to get some architectural plans done. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know from the architectural plans we're getting done here at the Macklin Building, we're doing a massive facelift here.
Sure, yeah.
This has literally been going on. In some ways, I'm GCing this. This has literally been going on for 2 years. The paint color.
Do you got any gray hair?
That's why I go high and tight. I had gray hair, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a high and tight on this side. So the Macklin.
I'm going with the distinguished gentleman version.
You're very distinguished, my friend. The Macklin Building, just to get the paint.
Yeah.
And the canopies,
we had
to go to Board of Architectural Review.
Yeah, sure.
They're really backlogged because of COVID.
Sure.
the architects are presenting on our behalf.
Sure.
They can't get in front of the Board of Architectural Review
Sure.
because COVID.
Sure.
So now we have these.
And you're paying an hourly
Oh,
rate.
Yeah, we're to the architects.
Yep, sure.
And the architects that we're doing, which is Formworks,
Yeah.
which is an established firm in the
Yeah,
area,
sure.
they ain't cheap.
Nope.
Okay, so I would imagine the
But they're
architects.
good, though.
Oh, they're phenomenal. Yeah, you guys are, Cecilia and Robert, you guys are phenomenal.
good.
They watch the show.
Good choice.
So long story short, the architectural plans, just from what I know around here for a project like this, it got to be pretty close to 50 G's,
Yeah, I would.
depending on the firm.
Yeah. No. So it's a little bit. It's a little bit different. Residential
Versus commercial.
versus commercial is a very different world. I would ballpark just a ballpark. Spit it out there. You're probably in the 25 grand range between your architectural, your site plan. Bringing in whatever erosion mitigation you need to do, whatever utility connections you need to do, so forth and so on. I would ballpark it somewhere in that range. And I tend to ballpark on the high side. So you're at about 425, 4 to 425 now between acquisition, demo, permits, your architectural review, your architectural plans, your site plan works because you have to have an actual plan to make into connections into the sewer lines and water lines. I mean, I'll tell you, the land trust is doing 10th and West, right? And the architectural and the planning portion of that is somewhere between 35 and 45 grand.
And were those subsidized though?
We were able to get a grant.
Okay. So you're talking, let's call it, for the sake of conversation,
Just call it 25.
450.
I would say 425 to 450,
Okay.
probably in that ballpark.
Okay.
somewhere.
Now we deal with pinch supply chains and new construction and finding people to do the work.
And I would figure somewhere between 250 to 300 bucks a square foot.
Okay. So how many square feet are you talking?
So let's do
So
let's
over under.
let's do 3,000, right?
So you're saying 1,500 and 1,500.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying 3,000 and you're saying 300 a foot? 300
Yeah, let's go
square?
250.
Okay. So you're looking at $750,000 right there.
Yeah.
And you ballparked everything before the new construction. We'll go with the low one
So that 250 is like hiring somebody to do it.
at $425K. So we're at $1,175,000
Yeah.
conservatively
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah, so your million
So-
wasn't that far off.
All right. So this is a project for the wealthy.
Uh,
You're talking an investment property. You're
Well-
talking some serious carrying costs.
well, then now take that. Let's just play devil. Let's play math here.
Please.
Right. So let's assume
Yeah.
for the heck of it.
You want me to get the mortgage calculator out? Is
No.
that what you're doing?
No.
I'm happy to do that.
Well, you can if you want, but I'm just looking at it backwards, right?
Okay.
I'm looking at it that normally the way you look at these things, you say, okay, if we're going to put a duplex on there, what can I sell that duplex for? What's the market value for that
So
duplex?
you don't think the investor is going to look to rent this and hold long term? That's how I see it, the real estate. I mean, you have more experience than I do.
Man, well, you can figure out.
I'll
you
do
can-
the mortgage
You can
calculator.
figure out one. Let's call
Let's
it.
call it 1.2 for the sake of math.
I was going to say $1 million. I think 1.2 is a little high.
Okay, so $1 million. Are they going to put? Is the investor going to put 20% down
Sure.
for a project like this?
The bank is going to require.
They're going to require this because it's not primary
Well,
residence.
they may even require you to purchase the land outright.
Yeah,
Outright.
before they give you the loan because the land's the collateral.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, so let's just say $1 million. Let's say conservatively you have to put $200K down because it's an investment property. You're taking a mortgage of $800K.
I was going to say 750, but 800 works.
Okay, 800. This is not going to be traditional interest rates.
No,
You're saying a point or two above market? Or are you going to go 1 or 2?
I would start at 4.
4
Minimum.
is low.
Yeah, well,
for
let's
this.
assume it's a rock star of a person. Let's just 4.5. Let's split the
Okay,
difference.
4.5. All right.
Because you were thinking 5.
I was thinking, yeah, so he knows me well. I was thinking 5. 4.5 on an interest rate, 30-year mortgage, $800K from the bank, 4.5 rate, you're looking at a monthly payment of over 4 Gs, 4,053.
And you would not actually do a 30-year mortgage.
No, you would do this in probably 5 to 10.
That's exactly- with a
I would say
30
it's probably 10.
It'll be a 10-year with a 30-year
AM schedule.
AM schedule
Yeah,
on it.
amortization schedule.
Yeah. So you have $4,000.
Yeah. This is what I did with one of mine over here.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so 4.5 interest rate, 800,000. You're going to get from the bank. We're going to call it a 10-year period. This mortgage calculator does not allow you to do a 10-year term and then an amortization schedule of 30, which would lower your payments. It's only going to give me the payment structure on a 10-year term.
So if I knew we were doing this, I would have gave you my ROI spreadsheet.
I love those.
For rentals.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to get to
Is how much you have to cover from your rent payment. Is what you're trying to get to.
Well, what you're trying to do is get to a cap rate. That's what you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And
you want to explain cap rate to people? It's. I mean, that's an entire show by itself.
That's what I so
cap rate.
So it's a capitalization rate, right? So make a long story short, if I'm putting X amount of cash in it, what is my long-term expected rate? So it's at a percentage, right? And the rule of thumb is when you do something.
I love this.
I know you do. It's scary, but you do.
You love it too.
Well, it's
your business.
It's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
It's like you do this forever. I've been doing this forever.
You know this stuff like the Pope knows holy water.
I was so intimidated.
Oh, you were in awe.
I was intimidated.
I could tell. I could tell.
I was intimidated, and I got goosebumps.
I could tell.
That young lady's a rock star.
I mean, she's dynamic. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She's well spoken.
She's
everything.
And I meant it. She should run for politics.
Well, the contract doesn't let you do that.
I know that, but when she's done with that, don't bore me with the details.
I'm sorry. Okay. 8,000. We're talking cap rate. We're gonna get them back in quick. We're reeling it in quick back up.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. Get Smith back on track, will you? Jesus Christ. So look, you really want to hit like the perfect sweet spot is 7%. But you really want to hit somewhere between 4 and 8. That's your 4 and 8% is kind of your thing, and we can get into greater details with that on a later date. So the point is that 4,000, that's just P&I, principal and interest.
Right.
We don't have our taxes. We don't have our insurances. We don't have our carry costs as far as maintenance facilities. We're assuming we're hiring.
Well, I mean, it's over 8,000 on the 10-year term. But you're saying it's going to be amortized over 30, but at term, the balloon payment will be 10.
Correct.
So that'll be 4 G's and change plus the taxes
That's per month.
Insurance. Yeah, per month.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
It's going to get it close to probably $4,500, $4,600.
No, it's going to be more than that because you got to bring somebody in to manage it. Right? No. Let's assume that you got to work it from that way, and you can always pull that out if you want.
Okay, so let's call it. We're going to say 10% management fee.
No,
8%.
Yeah, 8%.
Okay, so we're talking what? 8% on 4,000 and change.
We don't know what we're renting them for, and that's the scary part.
Well, let's say it's a 1,500 on the bottom, square feet on the bottom, 1,500 square feet on the top. I have a rental that's 1,280 square feet in the Villas at Southern Ridge.
It's a townhome, right?
It's a condo. Yeah. Yeah. You know this rental. We've talked about this before.
Just checking.
Okay.
I want to make sure you know it.
This is I do. This 1,280 square foot condo has 3 bedrooms, a den, and 2.5 baths.
Yeah.
So you could easily get 3 bedrooms on the bottom and 3 bedrooms on the top. The question you want to ask yourself is, as a property manager or landlord, do you want to get into the Eagles Landing game? And the Eagles Landing game is renting individual bedrooms to individual people that have individual locked doors. If you want to get into the Eagles Landing game, your profit margin is greater.
Yeah, but this is not the location.
That's not the. I was just going to say that chemistry is working.
Sorry.
This is
I'll let you finish.
More family on the lower level, or a group of people that knows each other on the lower level, and a group of people or family.
So
on the upper
let's
level.
wrap it into affordable housing.
I think it's 2,000 on the bottom. I think it's 1,750 on the top.
I think you're probably close to 2022.
On the bottom?
Yeah.
So you're saying $750 per room.
Yeah.
So $750 per room would be $2,250 bottom, and then same for top?
But here's an example. Yes.
Top's got to be a little lower.
I would say it's a little bit.
Because you're climbing up not that many stairs.
No, you are. You're the top floor is 4 stories up. So that's a bit of. I know what I know. I'm not walking up 4 stories. I've done that before. I know what that means. I've walked up 5 stories as a young boy. Look, so the reality of it is what are you coming? You probably can hit 4,000 a month total
Easily.
But we're not including all the rest of the costs. Plus, if you're looking at it a straight ROI, a straight business model, you want to have a little bit of,
Cushion.
you want to.
You know what's going to hit the fan.
Well, that's what I was telling you. That's what this ROI. I calculate that in this ROI, and I grow it in 2%, 3% increments all the way across. But let's put it back to what we talk about all the time: affordable housing. That can't be an affordable housing project.
No. It can't be an affordable housing because the owner of the property, the landlord, the investor, has got so much carrying costs and debt service that he's got to cover.
Yeah.
That he can't go and rent these rooms for $500 a pop or the bottom level for $1,000.
But if the land trust had $350,000.
Oh, is that what you guys are thinking about this for the trust?
No.
Does it fit the model?
No, it's perfect for the model. We just don't have that $350,000 to do that. But the land trust could come in if it had $350,000, buy that and take the land out of that component so that $1 million drops by $300,000-$400,000. We can go out and get a grant for the site work. We can go out and get a grant for this, all the different items. So then we're only dealing with the cost of construction, which would be considerably less than $250,000, right? Because we would end up building it ourselves. But that's how you drive that down. Because in order to hit the affordable housing mark, you probably got to be in the $1,200 to $1,400 a month range for a three-bedroom unit. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. So I think the point you're trying to make is whoever's going to do this, assuming they do this example we just went through, which is nothing more than two guys spitballing over
back of the napkin. People love this stuff.
A cup of coffee on that stuff. It will be, high-end rentals, in my opinion.
This is a perfect example, AKA a microcosm, of why it's incredibly difficult for landlords, investors, and speculators to create affordable housing.
That's exactly right.
In a nutshell,
That's exactly
the
right.
dirt is too expensive.
Everything is too expensive. The process is too expensive. There's $50,000. I mean, the fact that I have to go back and make a connection before I tear it down and go back and do it, I'm doing work twice.
Right.
Now, there may be some instances it has to happen because we're moving locations and so forth and so on. But or are you allowed to use a shared meter on this? And I leave my existing meter box there and I share off of that, or whatever there is. There has to be solutions through this, red tape into green tape thing we talk about all the time. We talked about this yesterday, right? I'm trying to wrap this around this new upzoning that they're working themselves through.
City of Charlottesville.
And what I wanted to explain is even though this is an R2, which allows 2 residential units on there, we just spitballed, and like even if we're 10 or 20% off, it's still a huge number.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think we're 10 or 20% off.
We're probably not that far off.
Yeah,
no. We've been doing this long enough.
Well, especially you.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
some practice, not as much as you.
Yeah. But even if I'm 20% off,
Yeah.
it's still 800.
Yeah.
It's still 900.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a lot of money, and it's just part of the process. It's just now,
How you could really win with this project is if you were, and I'm not going to use any names. You don't use any names. If you were a developer,
they're not getting me into trouble.
or you were a home remodeler, and you had the built-in efficiencies, otherwise known as vertical integration,
Sure.
of having the equipment and the team in place.
No, but we didn't even flush out what it's going to cost to renovate that.
No, I think the remodeler or the developer is still going to tear it down, but they have the team in place, the equipment.
Yeah, but the numbers, it doesn't change the cost.
It would change a little bit of the construction
Nah,
costs.
I mean, okay, back to my 20%, my 10%. Not much more than that. It's really not.
Well, I mean, the GC is not going to get a GC. You're not going to get a, whatever the fee is for somebody to GC it.
What do you
You're
think?
gonna take
What do
that
you
out.
think that fee is?
I mean, it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but
I mean, they obviously still have to pay materials
The
and
average-
their labor to get the work done.
that's true. The average builder net's only somewhere
Yeah,
between
6-7%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remodeling,
just took-
remodeling, it's a 30% margin.
But I just took 20% off of this thing and got it down to 800, and the math still's not going to work on you.
Yeah, and I see why you did that.
Yeah.
But the remodeling margin is 30%.
Yeah. Well, that's their GP. That's not what their net is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross
Gross profit.
Yeah, gross
Yeah,
profit.
yeah.
Yeah. And the same.
with you.
Thank you. The same thing.
You taught me no acronyms.
I know that, and I realized what I said after I said it. Well,
General practitioner? Is that what you had, Keith?
Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
We've been watching Formula One a lot.
Oh,
so.
well, your wife is essentially a Formula One driver.
Yeah, she is. I love it. She can drive the wheels off of a car. But anyway, I just thought it would be fun to
It was fun.
to spitball the project and see what
So
it
who
is.
buys that?
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, I wish the seller all the luck in the world. I hope they get everything that they get. That's a good thing. This is the market. But
If you're reading between the lines, when Smith does not get to the point like this, he's basically saying, and I'm saying this, not you saying this should have a 2 in front of it.
yeah, I won't. Yeah, I can't do that.
I said that.
I know that I can't do that. But the reality of it is, I took this from the approach that you asked me, hey, Smith, I'm looking to buy this. What can I do for it?
Yeah.
And that's the conversation I wanted to have.
So what do you do with the consulting business? They come to you and say, what can I
No,
do?
no. I would do this in my real estate,
Okay.
regular real estate.
Got
This is my regular real estate business. This is what I help people do in real estate. We have multiple facets on what we do on real estate. This conversation would be, hey, Keith, I'm thinking about buying this. What can I do with it?
Mustache Dan Pettit is how he's always stoking the fire.
It was good to see him on Sunday. Before you do that, I want to give him a compliment.
Okay.
Before he busts my chops.
Okay. Well, he's just saying maybe this is Yona's next home.
Like
He buys it for Yona.
Like I said, before he busts my chops. Thank you for coming out, Dan, on Sunday.
Yeah,
It
we
was
love you,
great.
Dan.
It was great to see him.
Yeah.
He showed up and participated. That was.
Bud Guy's got this question. The real estate residential market is booming. When will we see the commercial end of real estate bounce back? And what can owners and real estate agents do to get these empty buildings filled?
So that's a great question. I do a fair amount of commercial. It's not our primary business, but I maybe do half a dozen transactions a year in commercial, and it's interesting. It's very specific to the product type, the location, just like we talk about this all the time, right? Location, price, features, conditions, and timing.
Not all the commercials struggling.
Not all the commercials are
Yeah.
struggling. I have a couple of clients that I can't find stuff for them,
Yeah.
but they have to be very specific parcels.
Right.
And some areas just are not moving along. It's very specific. You have to take a deep dive into each, just like we just did with this. So what we just did with this parcel on Elliott,
Basically did a SWOT analysis.
that's literally
Yeah.
what we just did.
We did a SWOT analysis.
We did, and then so what would happen when a client would call me and say, hey, Jerry calls Keith, I'm interested in this. What we just did live is what we would do. We'd spitball it, we'd look at it, I'd dig up all the information. You'll decide this has got legs to it. Then we move forward with an offer. Then we bring in Kelsey and her team, and we start going through that. But
Grayson, SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what the SWOT stands for: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Thank you for the question, Grayson.
that would actually be a really good show to talk about one
SWOT
day.
analysis.
SWOT
Yeah,
analysis.
that is a show topic.
We
Cap rate, SWOT analysis.
We do SWOT analysis. Basically, every transaction, there's a SWOT analysis. We do it in the background with the client.
Well, and I think human nature, whether we know what we're doing or not, we're doing SWOT analysis on every decision we're making.
Sure. But it's different when you write it out.
Leslie asked this question: why is cap rate not something we talk about in residential? I'm just hearing this term now.
So cap rate is specific to rental and commercial. It's
much more prevalent in commercial.
yeah.
Just like you guys, and Quentin Beckham, this is for you, homie. Residential, the price per square foot is not really a metric
No.
that should be utilized.
That's exactly
It's
right.
much more of a commercial metric.
Correct.
Quentin Beckham, thank you.
Yeah, it's two very different worlds,
Yeah.
and two very different ways that it's looked at. You can use a cap rate in residential if you were to buy a home for a rental property,
Right.
right? So that's what you
Apartment
want,
complex, condo complex.
or a single-family
Yeah.
detached lot.
When you're investing.
When you're investing from retail, regular purchase,
Primary
residence, it's not used. I mean, in a way, you kind of use it. If you hold on. I mean, I know your brain thinks this way. If you're going to sell your house, what your percentage you're going to make on it versus how much. But capitalization rate is I am moving this much capital into this project based on expenses and time, and I go to sell it in year 10 because you have to put a year in there when you're going to sell it. What's that percentage? But we'll get a little bit more detailed, and it's a pretty lofty subject to talk about.
Brian Coppinger. Jerry, highlight for everyone the show that's launching next week. I heard you and Keith talking about it yesterday.
Oh, thank you. What a segue into that. Yeah, so we haven't quite Vanessa came up.
Vanessa Parkhill, we love you.
We love you. Came up with a great name for it. We're kind of flushing it out.
It was the Monday Market Mashup.
Mashup, yeah.
We're percolating or noodling.
We're noodling. That's my favorite term. We're noodling that mainly because I don't want to screw it up when I'm saying it. That's my Yankee tongue kind of gets twirled up around it. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with Nikki Chambliss. We're going to start doing a show on Monday mornings. It's going to either the Monday morning See, I screwed it up already.
Guys, what do you think the show should be called? It's
we got to tell them
Monday morning recap of what transpired over the weekend in Central Virginia real estate. We're tentatively brainstorming Monday morning mashup.
Or Monday Morning Monitor.
Monday Morning Monitor.
No. Market Monitor. No, we drop in morning.
So Monday
Market Monitor.
That one's not bad.
Yeah, but that.
Monday Market Monitor. Say that 3 times.
I can't.
Monday Market Monitor. Monday Market Monitor.
Literally on my hour bike ride this morning.
You're like, Monday Market Monitor.
I was literally doing that. And I go through no, I swear to God.
I believe you.
I go through a couple neighborhoods, right? And one of them I built Nahor, and I'm going through it, and I'm literally saying out loud,
Monday Market Monitor.
And these poor ladies that are walking, they're like, really? Yeah. All I know is they were going 911. We got crazy. Monday morning. Hold on. I keep on dropping in morning, but Monday Market Monitor or Monday. I kind of like mashup though. The reason I like it is when I researched the definition, what we're going to do is mash up data, what people are talking about on the feed. Right, it's kind of what we do.
Yeah, it's very similar to Judah. You have any ideas? You have a way with words too. If you have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah, please. So the bottom line is we're kind of changing the 3 shows a week.
Yeah.
Monday is going to be very specific to what has happened from Thursday to Sunday, because that's kind of when most of real estate is happening, and the market is moving in such a pace that we want to provide accurate, up-to-date information. What's coming on, what's going off, what are the average days on market, what neighborhood. I mean, we've got all kinds of numbers here, which we won't get today, about Glenmore and Lake Monticello, that kind of stuff.
Gated communities are in fuego.
Absolutely. And interesting and we'll talk about this on another show because we're running tight on time here.
Right.
It's interesting how the DOMs at Glenmore have plummeted.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking single digits, and they used to be, months, if not over a year.
Well, that was
a different time.
But 2000 and hold on a second here. 2019.
I mean, you couldn't sell a home.
2019, it was 50 days on market. Today it's 8.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where people are cold calling, door knocking in neighborhoods. Mr. Fud Guy says Monday Market Mayhem.
That'd be kind of what we do. Mayhem.
I think he's attributing to what you and I do.
Oh no, like that commercial. What's the?
Oh, the insurance guy.
The insurance dude.
It's creepy that I finished your sentence.
I'm sorry about that.
So creepy.
And we're about ready to do more.
Well, I mean, it works. There's a dynamic here that people enjoy.
I have to tell you, just to sit across from a rock star of a young lady like that is just makes everything that we do to prep and talk, because there's a lot of prep work that goes into each one of these shows, just makes it worth it. But as you know, each show there comes a magic point
where you forget everything.
I literally forget other people are watching and listening right now.
Neil Williams said Monday real estate recap.
Okay. I was trying to keep the M's, like
Well,
three M's.
you know what that's called?
No.
Alliteration.
Huh?
Yeah, it's alliteration. You knew what
Huh?
that was called. It's called alliteration. You like the alliteration piece. That's alliteration is one strategy that you can utilize to create branding that resonates with people.
Miller, I'm just trying to make it easy on me to say without screwing it up.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
Monday real estate recap would probably be the easiest.
Monday real estate recap. No, thanks, Neil. Now I'm going to ride on my bike tomorrow saying that. But yeah, so it's just, and I've kind of plagiarized it a little bit from cars. They have what they call a market monitor that you look, there's a snapshot of what happens over a certain amount of
The
day.
Monday market monitor is not bad.
I kind of like that Monday market monitor.
Judah, you have any suggestions?
But the mashup I kind of like, though.
Well, I mean, I like the mashup because it came from one of our viewers.
That's exactly right.
That is like a loyal viewer that
That's
makes
exactly,
the show better.
That's exactly right. So I want to honor that
Yeah.
and give a
Well,
ton of thought to that on that. But look, we can. There's nothing etched in stone. We can start one thing and
Yeah, we could pivot.
Make
Pivot.
it-
There's the pivot word.
we're not allowed to use that.
I know it's been
word.
played out so much right there. My friend, anything else you wanna add?
No, I don't. I really wanted to celebrate this young lady and pick up what you guys were talking about on this thing without crossing any lines, which I hope I didn't, and kind of look at it from a perspective of if I was representing you on this, what the back of the envelope we would pencil out, and I think we did that. And somebody might think what we just penciled out is perfect and
What
works
about,
for them.
This just came to me. What about Monday market mentors?
I just came to you.
Yeah,
Monday market mentors.
because we're mentoring the audience on what the market did over the weekend on Monday.
I got to tell you, I keep on going back to mashup.
I mean, mashup is fantastic. Maybe we just go with mashup.
Yeah. Vanessa, we're going to give that some more serious thought. We
Vanessa
got
got I Love Seagull stickers for that suggestion.
I think we need to get our act together because we're like coming up quickly.
Yeah, it's Monday.
It's
Today's
Monday.
Tuesday. We have less than 6
Well,
days.
we'll give it some thought over the weekend. Well, hold on. What's today? Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Got it.
All right, why don't we close with what you got cooking Friday?
Yeah, thank you. So we've got the Erpies coming in.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to that. This is going to be, I was thinking about, again, on my bike ride this morning, it's a lot like when Neil and Sean come in. They're just so good at bouncing off at each other. Well, we're three New Yorkers, so...
Who's gonna get you got Xavier Erpy, Alex Erpy, Keith Smith, and myself on set at the same time. Who's gonna be able to talk?
You won't.
I know.
You won't. And we've had a meeting about this actually, right? No, but it'll be fun. And we had a couple of meetings together, and they're wonderful people,
Yeah,
and,
they're amazing.
and they're helping Yona and I, and I just think they're awesome family, awesome folks. But we were sitting around, literally having pizza in the meeting, because we had to have pizza.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. And Emily was in the office, and I invited Emily to come sit at the table and share pizza with us while we're talking. And
Emily is a team member of YRP. Yes, Realty Fund.
Emily Funk, and we couldn't do what we do without her. And when the meeting was over, she goes, "Oh, so that's what it's like to be around a bunch of New Yorkers." What we're doing, we just did this for like an hour. And it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Emergent Financial Services. Alex is on today.
Oh,
He's
that's right.
on
Today's
Tuesdays.
Tuesday. Cool.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
Good. Tell him I
Give
said
us the
hey.
market update. I will. Guys, Keith Smith is fantastic people of Yes Realty Partners. Keith Smith of Yes Realty Partners. If you're looking for somebody to help you in the process of buying or selling your home, doing an investment property, putting together a SWOT analysis, Yes Realty Partners. Keith Smith, Yona Smith, and this fantastic team. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Dominga Murray was amazing.
Oh, man.
If you want some energy, if you want some positivity, some hope, listen to the interview, guys, with Dominga Murray. We archive it everywhere. My name is Jerry Miller. This is Real Talk, presented by Yes Realty Partners, an intrastate service company, a home's best friend. Thank you for joining us this Tuesday. Take care.
Thank you, folks. Yeah, I'm learning. Civics.